I'm Jason with Saving Sally, and welcome back to another episode of Carticulate. The Carticulate series, if you're new to the channel, is where we talk cars and car culture and anything to do with cars. So this particular video comes to me just an idea. I was out pumping my service van up at work a few weeks ago. Stopped in a little town nearby to where I live, which is Decatur, Alabama. And if you're from around here, people famously know that Decatur is the cheap gas because they have lower gas taxes than any other county around. And I was sitting around looking at Decatur, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder why Decatur did that. I feel like they did it to try to bring people in, but I think all it really did was bring people to the exit.
That's right.
Everybody
keep going.
They keep going. And while I was sitting there pumping gas, a Tesla drives by, Tesla Model S. And that's an electric car, and I was thinking about taxes and revenue, and here comes a car that never needs gas. And it occurred to me that I've not yet heard a single government official talk about what they're going to do about the loss in tax revenue when we go full electric. You know, it may seem like just a few cents to you when you fill up per gallon, but to a county and a city and a state, that's a huge amount of revenue.
It's huge.
And that revenue pays for a lot of stuff. And so I have yet to hear anybody talk about it, so I dug up Gary Marchman for Coleman County, and Gary was kind enough to let me come in his office and talk with me about it. So Gary, what do you got? Any thoughts?
Wow, you know, people need to understand a little bit about the amount of money we're talking about, because like you said, you're talking about a cent or two or whatever per gallon of gas going locally. But what people don't realize is last year we sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 million gallons of gasoline in Coleman County. You know, so that's quite an impact when you talk about 60 million gallons with a penny on each gallon. You know, and the same thing with diesel. I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 million gallons of diesel, you know, here in Coleman County. So a penny per gallon will go a long way. But when you look at 10 cents, you're looking at $6 million. And when you look at what the state collects, which is 28 cents per gallon, then you're looking at a chunk of change. You know, you're looking at about
Forever County.
Yeah, you're looking at about $17 million roughly. You know, somewhere in that neighborhood at 28 cents.
Let me try to put a million in perspective for you. A lot of people, you know, they hear numbers like 1,000, a million, 100,000, and they just know it's a lot.
Right.
If you wanted to count to a million or pump gas,
Yeah.
1 gallon per second. If you wanted to pump 1 million gallons, you'd better clear your calendar for the next 11 days.
Wow.
Because that's where you're going to be.
1 gallon a second. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yes.
And you're right. So that's a lot of gas. People don't realize we're a small county, you know, in comparison to what's around us. You know, you talk about Decatur area and the Huntsville area and Birmingham area, you know.
I know Decatur's moving some gas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, there's a huge impact that's going to come from not being able to have a revenue source there to do things locally or statewide and stuff like that. So now, when these electric cars come online and really start impacting that revenue, they've got to have another source to replace it, because you know, and I know that the government ain't going to lose revenue.
No.
They're going to figure out a way to put some more in place, and you know, we could have a whole show just on that alone. But
right.
You know, I know there'll be a lot of people that probably watch this show and says, well, why don't you do this with the money, or why don't you do that with the money that you collect? But we really don't get a lot of money locally here on gas tax alone. Most of our revenue comes from a sales tax, believe it or not. And that's how we function with our general fund. But get back to the gas tax.
I'm actually glad you mentioned the sales tax, because we're talking about the collapse of the industry. And what I mean by that is, now, I'm not talking about oil and gas. A lot of people don't realize this, but your oil wells are out there pumping gas. Only about 10% of that ends up as fuel in somebody's car. The rest of it ends up as asphalt shingles, plastic lenses in your glasses.
That's right.
Petroleum
products.
Yes, at one time even
Vaseline.
But what we do have is a necessity to stop for gas, and we call them gas stations. Well, I know for me, I stop. I routinely go in and get something to drink, a little snack. My kids, whenever we stop, they beg and plead to go in.
Exactly.
There's sales tax. They're putting these gas stations up at a significant investment to the owner, and they're not making much off the gas. It's the little knickknacks that they sell inside that helps pay for the place, they claim. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I'm sure there must be something to it. And these people are going to be having to close. And then it got me to thinking,
or they're going to be having to adjust.
Yes.
Yeah, to something different. Right.
So right now you can go to your favorite big box hardware store, and you can take your old propane cylinder and swap it out for another one. And it got me thinking about it. Are they going to do something similar with batteries? Are you gonna,
I could see that.
walk out,
right.
It's like batteries. And to me, that's the most viable method. But the problem is, I don't think these manufacturers are making the cars where the battery slides out. I think the batteries are pretty well integrated to them. Mm-hmm. The other side of that coin is, if I bought a brand new car, I don't know how I feel about giving you my brand new battery and getting one that's kind of near the end of the life. But here's some thoughts that I had been kicking around in my brain, and I'm probably missing something, but I think the automatic go-to is we'll just have to start taxing your electric bill because you're charging your car with it.
And a lot of people, that's been taught. Believe it or not, these things are being talked out probably as we speak. Because that long-term plan of an increase in the number of electrical cars and how it's going to impact, you'd really have to see numbers go into effect first, and it's so minimum right now that the numbers are so low that it's not impacting a whole lot. But
I'm going to tell you why I think that won't work. Reason number one is because if you implement a system, people will find a way to beat the system.
Oh yeah, sure.
And you can go on Amazon today, and for under $500, order a windmill that
generate electricity. Exactly.
Yes. How are you going to tax me on that? Or you can order solar panels. How can you tax me on that? Yeah. Then I got to thinking, well, maybe they'll tax you when you renew your tag. So it comes down to a situation where if I say, hey, Gary, you're the tag man, and I'm here to renew my tag, and you say, okay, well, you owe me $880 for the miles you drove this year. Some people are going to be able to pay that begrudgingly, but they're going to be able to pay it.
Sure.
But there's a lot of people out there that are just going to run around with an expired tag because they know they can't pay it.
That's one thing that you're going to have to figure out how to manage a system like that. In other words, you wouldn't be able to ask the average person to pay $2,000 for a car tag. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yes, I do.
The average person can't afford $2,000 every year for every vehicle that they own. If they've got 3 vehicles,
and of course the argument's going to be made that they're not going to be paying it at the pump, so don't they save the money?
Well,
but whenever penny counts, it's hard to put some back.
Exactly. That's what I was supposed to say. How many people got a good savings
not many
record? We
got to have revenue coming in from somewhere. Mm-hmm. I don't see a good way to tax your tag annually, but maybe you could, pay monthly. Again, people who maybe are living at the poverty level have to make decisions. They have to say, well, I got to pay the utility bill,
right?
Or I can prepay my tag taxes,
mm-hmm.
right? I don't know what the answer is. I know this; it's going to get messy.
There's going to be some things come about it's going to be changed, and I think there's going to be things that's going to be mandated that aren't going to be popular, and I don't like that. I think the people should vote, but I think the people ought to be informed too,
right? Well, we got another problem that's created by it, and that's it's not been that long ago that Texas had to destroy chickens and all kind of livestock because it got cold outside.
That's right.
And their power grid couldn't keep up. Millions of chickens were killed. It was the first time I'd heard of a chicken wing shortage, but we're still going. I don't know that it's related to that still, but that was the beginning of the chicken wing shortage that we had in 2021. There's all kind of other agricultural losses due to the power grid not being able to keep up. So when to me, I know it's not going to happen tomorrow. This is going to be a gradual thing. Mm. See, normally we have the government in the form of the EPA telling auto manufacturers, you had better meet certain standards. And the auto manufacturers say, I don't know what we're going to do. And they find a way. I think in this instance, the roles have been reversed, and the automakers might be 2 steps ahead of our government.
Well, most people stay that way, to be honest with you. And I'm not, look, I'm part of the government, but we historically make their own decisions, and I say that loosely because I'm not saying that everybody does. I'm just saying overall, that's one reason I jumped at the opportunity to sit down with you for a minute, because this needs to get out to the people. People need to know, because people are going to have to figure out the best way. And I hope that will happen. You know,
That's another reason I wanted to do the video, because something you said, the government rarely gets it right.
yeah, that's
and,
right.
And I actually saw a shirt. I don't know where the guy got it, but I would pay $50 for a T-shirt because it said, "If you think government is the answer, just look what they did to the gas can." And it's a
That's
picture
exactly
of the guy
right. Trying to put
pour
gas in his car. That's exactly right.
And I know his frustration. 'Cause I got 2 or 3 different gas cans, and they're all some weird combo. They're all different.
That's right.
Hold a lever, hold your jaw just the right way, and you still, when it finally comes, it comes too much. But I do think this is the kind of thing that if the government lets it sneak up on them,
we're going to come out with something
it
stupid.
absolutely will sneak up on them.
Exactly.
And it seems like oftentimes that I say this is not a political channel, and it's not, but there are certain facets where automobiles and car culture and politics just come together. And
and
we gotta talk
people.
about it.
We said this to begin with, but people need to understand the impact that this is going to have on our government, because, and I'm not advocating for taxes, but. Right now I think the federal government gets like 47 cents or something a gallon. I forgot. And the local government, state government gets like 28 cents a gallon on gas, on a tax that goes. And then locally we get 1 cent. So you take all those numbers and put them together and put them at 60 million gallons just here in Coleman, and that's a lot of money.
Well, I'll say this too. I've been in the military. I've lived in some other places. With jobs that took me traveling.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I am so thankful that we don't have here in Coleman County, because I believe they're wrong. I don't believe there should be a such thing as a toll road unless it is your private property.
Exactly.
And you pay out of your pocket to build that road. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I see. I see toll roads popping up everywhere, toll booths. Here's where I'm at on that, is that toll roads are just another way to tax more.
Yeah.
When you pay a toll booth, that's way more than you would have paid in normal taxes. And Texas, I'm going to pick on Texas here, specifically Houston. One of the big things there was that they would set these toll booths up and say, "Oh, don't worry, they're just temporary. And once we raise X money, they're going to go away."
Yeah, right.
Then they sell the ownership of the toll booths to
whoever.
In some cases, foreign countries are now running these toll booths. And why would we do that? Now we're sending your tax dollars.
Like we said earlier, when you don't leave it to the government now.
Yeah, so my
we
hope,
need to figure it out.
My hope in doing the video, if I'm just being real, I needed the video to put on YouTube. I need the hits, I need the views, and I think this is the kind of thing. I think we're a little ahead of the curve. I don't think people are thinking about this yet, but I think as they start thinking about it, this video maybe will be there. But the reason number 2 is people like Gary Marchman can say, "Hey, let me send you a link. Have you thought about this?"
Yeah, that's right.
Because I am trying to use what little influence I have to maybe rattle some cages and say, "Hey, we need to start thinking about this sooner
Steer
rather
a
than
little
later."
thought, because there's lots of angles that's going to come into the play in this. That people are going to be buying for their way, and stuff like that.
Yes, so. And cars are. They're a big revenue generator. Not just the purchase of the car, not just the license registration, but the fuel that you buy. That is the big driver of revenue generated by automobiles. Electric cars are still going to create potholes. Electric cars are still polluting. I know that they don't really have much of a carbon footprint in their immediate area, but they are using electricity that's been generated somewhere else.
Have you had an opportunity to drive one?
I have not. So if you out there have an electric car that you'd like for me to sit down and drive in, I want to talk to you. I do some joyride videos in the channel as well, and I would love to get behind the wheel of one, because I know you can get the fastest gas burner out there, but those electric cars, they're a whole other class.
That's right. It's so crazy.
It's not even in the same.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, I've seen them. I've never driven one, but I have seen them go, and they are unreal. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to kind of cover for the sake of this video. Do you have any other thoughts that you'd like to throw in there?
There's tons of things, and like I said, there's going to be a lot of angles that come from this. There's going to be, and what I mean by saying that is there's going to be people that have their own ideas that are in government right now that have their own ideas that they want to push to. So one thing about informing the people is people need to know that they need to have their input with their legislators, with their federal and local and state folks, about, hey, what we see coming down the pipeline, when it starts coming, this is a good idea or a bad idea, and this is why.
Well, that's the way government's supposed to work.
That's exactly right.
Like, I pick somebody who represents my best
That's right.
interest. You know, and that person is supposed to go to government in my absence and make the decision that they think I would make.
Yeah.
Or really it's the decision they would make, but I've picked somebody who I think would make the decision that I would make. That's how it's supposed to work. But oftentimes, on these real complex issues, you need input from your public. Because somebody out there has the answer. Somebody out there probably has the answer who hasn't even thought about it right now, which is a weird thing to say.
That's right.
But
That's
that
exactly
person out there, maybe they will see this video or one like it and say, you know what, I think I got it. And get that information to the right person. Something as simple as comments on a YouTube channel can find their way back to the right person. You know, social media, for better or for worse, has got its roots deep into our society right now. And a lot of our elected officials pay really close attention to social media because that's where their people are. And social media can really wield a lot of power for better or for worse. But in this case, I personally just would really like to get some awareness out there that this is coming and that the roads that we drive on, you know, they're paid for by the gas that you buy.
Right on.
When you're not buying gas anymore, we're going to have to pay for them some way.
And really, you know, our people are going to probably go on here just to gripe about the roads here in Coleman. They are. We've got bad roads. I know that, and I know that. And you know, we got a plan to put together. But we get a small percentage of the tax money that goes out here on gas. You know, and most of what we repair roads with really comes off of sales tax. It comes from our general fund from sales tax. You know, but and we have 12 other departments besides our road department that we have to maintain. So on top of that, that's I just wanted to throw that information out there. But it's, you know, it's about finding a solution, a good solution, a solution that'll fit most people. You know.
All right. Well, Gary, thanks for meeting
Yeah,
with me.
man. I appreciate it, Jason.
This will be the end of this video here. If you're enjoying the channel, be sure and give me a like, a subscribe, a comment, all the things that all the YouTubers ask for. Outside of that, I'll see you at the next video. And until next time, this is Jason with Saving Sally, and this has been Carticulate.